My beloved child, before a single promise was ever spoken between your hearts, before your names could become part of the same future, a quiet conversation began in a place you could not see. It did not happen with loud emotions or dramatic words. It unfolded gently, almost like a whisper carried through an ordinary day. Your future life partner found themselves speaking about someone they had never truly met, yet somehow already felt connected to. Their sister noticed the change immediately. She smiled, then asked a simple question that lingered in the room longer than either of them expected. Why do you sound so different today? There was a long pause. Not because they had no answer, but because the truth was still taking shape inside them. Don't skip. The smallest moments often carry the deepest meaning. What happened next was not rushed. Every sentence seemed to uncover another layer that had been quietly hidden for a long time. Your future life partner admitted they could no longer ignore the feeling that someone was changing them from a distance, making them more patient, more hopeful, more willing to believe that real love could still exist. Their sister listened carefully, watching every expression instead of interrupting. Then, with unexpected calm, she said something that caused the entire conversation to slow almost to silence. Whoever this person is, she whispered, they've already become part of the way you see tomorrow. Those words settled deeply. Your future life partner didn't argue. They simply looked away, carrying a smile that seemed impossible to explain. In that quiet moment they realized they had been speaking about you far longer than they ever intended. Not your appearance. Not your achievements. But the peace they imagined whenever your future crossed their mind. Stay till the end. Because something important is waiting for you, and this conversation has only just begun. Before either of them stood to leave, the sister leaned forward once more, lowered her voice, and shared one final observation, one so unexpected that your future life partner could only sit there in complete silence, unable to answer. Those words would remain with them long after the conversation ended, and what she actually said changes everything that comes next. There are conversations that end when the words stop, and then there are conversations that truly begin in the silence afterward. This was one of those moments. Your future life partner remained completely still, replaying their sister's final observation again and again, as though each repetition uncovered a meaning they had somehow missed the first time. The room had grown quiet, yet inside their heart everything had become unexpectedly alive. Their sister watched carefully before speaking again. I've known you for years, she said softly, and I've never seen your eyes become this peaceful when talking about someone. Those words were not dramatic. They were honest. And sometimes honesty carries more power than excitement ever could. Don't skip, because the next realization arrived when neither of them expected it. Your future life partner smiled without even realizing it, then quickly looked away, almost embarrassed by how naturally your presence had entered the conversation. Their sister noticed that small smile and laughed gently. You're trying to hide it, she said, but you don't sound like someone who's imagining a dream anymore. You sound like someone preparing to recognize a real person. For a few seconds, nothing else was said. That silence felt meaningful, as if both of them understood they had stepped into a conversation that would be remembered for years. Then your future life partner quietly admitted something they had never spoken aloud before. It's strange, they whispered, because every time I think about them, I become a better version of myself. I don't even know why. Their sister's expression softened. She nodded slowly before offering a thought that seemed to arrive straight from the heart. Maybe the right person begins changing us long before they actually arrive. Those words settled deeply, filling the room with quiet hope instead of uncertainty. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you. Your future life partner closed their eyes for a brief moment, realizing this conversation had become far more personal than they had expected. They thought it was simply about sharing a feeling. Instead, it had become a mirror reflecting everything they truly wanted but had never found the courage to admit. As they stood to leave, their sister called them back one last time. "There's one thing I haven't told you yet," she said with a thoughtful smile. "When you described this person, one detail stood out so clearly that I think it's going to surprise even you." Your future life partner slowly turned around, their curiosity growing stronger than ever. Because they knew the next sentence might reveal something they had overlooked all along. Some truths reveal themselves only after every ordinary explanation has quietly disappeared. Your future life partner turned back toward their sister, expecting a simple opinion, perhaps even a light-hearted remark. Instead, they found someone looking at them with an expression filled with quiet certainty. It was the kind of look that comes when a person notices something meaningful before anyone else does. The silence stretched for a moment, not because anyone was searching for words, but because the right words deserved their own space to arrive. Don't skip. What comes next is not loud, yet it carries a meaning that lingers far longer than excitement ever could. Their sister finally smiled and said, "Do you know what surprised me the most? Every time you described this person, you never talked about what they could give you. You only talked about how they make you want to become kinder, calmer, and more honest." Those words seemed to stop time. Your future life partner lowered their eyes, realizing she was right. They had spoken about your patience, your quiet strength, your ability to make even difficult moments feel lighter, qualities they had imagined with remarkable clarity, even before your paths had crossed. It wasn't perfection they were hoping to find. It was peace. And somehow, every thought about you carried that feeling. Their sister continued gently, "Most people fall in love with an idea. You're falling in love with the character of someone you've never stopped believing exists." A deep breath escaped your future life partner before they even noticed it. For the first time, they understood that this wasn't just curiosity anymore. Something inside them had become steady. Something that no longer rushed ahead, but waited with quiet confidence. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, and this conversation is opening another door. Their sister then reached across the table and asked one final question. "If this person walked into your life tomorrow, what would you want them to know first?" The question caught them completely off guard. They remained silent for several heartbeats before answering with a voice so sincere it almost surprised them. "I would want them to know they never needed to pretend to be anyone else. I would want them to know they've already been enough." The room grew still again. Even their sister's eyes softened as she listened. Then she nodded slowly and whispered, "That's the answer I was hoping you would give, because it tells me you're finally ready for the kind of love that grows through understanding instead of rushing." Your future life partner smiled quietly, believing the conversation had reached its end. But as they picked up their things to leave, their sister gently stopped them once more. There was one memory she had kept to herself until now, a small detail she had noticed weeks earlier, and the moment she began to describe it, your future life partner realized this story had been unfolding much longer than either of them had ever imagined. Long before either of them realized this conversation would matter so much, a small memory had quietly been waiting for the right moment to return. Your future life partner paused at the doorway, sensing from their sister's voice that this was different from everything she had shared before. She wasn't smiling now. She was remembering. And memories, when they arrive at exactly the right time, often reveal what ordinary conversations cannot. Don't skip. Because the next few moments uncover a piece of the story neither of them had connected until now. A few weeks ago, their sister began softly, you were sitting by the window after everyone else had gone to bed. You thought no one noticed. You weren't looking at your phone. You weren't watching television. You were simply staring into the distance with the happiest expression I'd seen on your face in years. Your future life partner blinked in surprise. They remembered that evening, but they had no idea anyone had been watching. Do you know what I asked you? She continued. I asked what you were thinking about. And you smiled without answering. Now I finally understand why. A gentle silence settled between them. Their sister took one slow breath before speaking again. Even then, you were already imagining the person you hoped would one day walk beside you. Those words reached deeper than either of them expected. Your future life partner closed their eyes for a moment, realizing that hope had been quietly growing long before they had found the courage to speak about it. It hadn't appeared overnight. It had been patiently becoming part of who they were. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you. Their sister stepped closer and added something so simple that it almost went unnoticed. You know what changed the most? She asked. It wasn't your dreams. It was your heart. You became gentler with people. You stopped rushing through life. You started believing that the right connection wouldn't have to be forced. Those words lingered in the air like the final notes of a beautiful song. Your future life partner smiled with quiet gratitude, understanding that the journey toward love had already been shaping them in ways they had never recognized. Then, just as they prepared to leave for the second time, their sister reached into a nearby drawer and carefully unfolded a small piece of paper. There's one last thing, she whispered. I wrote something down after watching you that night. I never planned to show anyone, but after hearing everything you've shared today, I think you're finally ready to read it. Your future life partner accepted the folded note with slightly trembling hands. They looked at the first line. And before they could even reach the second, their entire expression changed. A single sentence has the power to remain hidden for weeks, only to become unforgettable the moment it is finally read. Your future life partner unfolded the small note with careful hands, almost afraid that moving too quickly would disturb the meaning waiting inside. The paper was simple. No grand message. No dramatic declaration. Just a few thoughtful words written during an ordinary evening that had quietly become extraordinary. Don't skip, because this was not the message they expected to find. The first line read, the person you're waiting for will not make you feel louder. They will make you feel more like yourself. Your future life partner stopped reading. Their breathing slowed. Those words reached a place inside them they had never been able to describe. They looked up at their sister, who simply smiled and nodded. I wrote that because I watched you change, she said. Not all at once. Little by little. Every time you spoke about the future, you became calmer instead of more anxious. That's when I knew something beautiful was already beginning inside you. For several quiet moments, neither of them spoke. Sometimes silence is the only response that truth requires. Then your future life partner lowered their eyes and continued reading. The second line was even shorter. When you finally meet them, don't search for perfection. Notice how peaceful your heart becomes. Those words settled into the room with remarkable gentleness. Your future life partner realized they had spent so much time wondering how the future would look that they had almost forgotten how it should feel. Their sister noticed the realization spreading across their face. "That's what I've been trying to tell you," she whispered. The right person won't feel unfamiliar for very long. They'll feel like someone your heart has been patiently preparing to welcome. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you. Your future life partner carefully folded the note and placed it close to their heart, not because it answered every question, but because it reminded them that the best things often arrive quietly. As they reached the door one final time, their sister called after them with a smile unlike any she had shown before. "One day," she said, "when you finally tell this person about today's conversation, don't start by telling them what I said." Your future life partner turned back, curious once again. "Start," she continued softly, "by telling them the one thing you realized while you were listening." Those words followed them all the way home, because before they could ever share this story with you, they first had to discover the answer hidden inside their own heart. And that realization would come sooner than either of them imagined. Not every answer arrives in the place where the question was first asked. Sometimes it follows you home, waits through the quiet hours, and gently appears when your heart is finally ready to receive it. That evening, your future life partner placed the folded note on a small table beside them instead of putting it away. They looked at it several times, yet something inside whispered, "Don't rush. Let the meaning find you." And so they waited. Don't skip, because the next realization wasn't written on the paper at all. It was written in the silence that followed. As the night grew calmer, they began remembering every word they had spoken to their sister. They noticed something surprising. Not once had they described your future together with grand plans or impossible expectations. Instead, every sentence had carried one quiet desire: to build a life where both people could simply be themselves without pretending, without fear of being misunderstood, without constantly proving their worth. That realization brought an unexpected smile. It felt less like discovering something new and more like recognizing something that had always been true. They whispered to themselves, "Maybe I've been searching for a feeling, not a fantasy." The room seemed lighter after those words. It was as though their own heart had finally stopped trying to race ahead of time. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you. Just then, their phone gently lit up. It wasn't an important notification. It wasn't a dramatic interruption. It was a simple message from their sister. Only one sentence appeared on the screen: "I forgot to tell you the part that made me believe this person is closer than you think." Your future life partner read the message twice. Then a third time. Curiosity returned, but this time it wasn't restless. It was peaceful. They smiled and replied with just 2 words, "Tell me." Several minutes passed before another message appeared. Their sister had clearly taken her time, choosing every word with care. "When you talked about them today," she wrote, you didn't sound like someone hoping to meet a stranger. You sounded like someone remembering a connection they hadn't experienced yet, but somehow already trusted. Your future life partner stared at the screen in complete silence. Those words reached deeper than anything else they had heard that day. They slowly looked back at the folded note on the table and realized the conversation had never really been about finding the right person. It had been about becoming the right person. And just as that understanding settled into their heart, another message appeared from their sister, shorter than the first, yet far more mysterious. "There's one question I didn't ask you today," she wrote. "I saved it because I think your answer will reveal everything." Your future life partner's heartbeat quietly quickened as they opened the final message, and the question waiting inside would stay with them long after the screen went dark. There are questions that ask for information, and there are questions that quietly reveal the truth already living inside your heart. Your future life partner looked at the glowing screen for several moments before opening the final message. Somehow, they sensed this wasn't going to be an ordinary question. It felt like a doorway waiting to be opened at exactly the right time. Don't skip, because the next few words changed the entire direction of their thoughts. The message was surprisingly simple. "If you met this person tomorrow," their sister asked, "what would you thank them for? Even before they had done anything for you?" Your future life partner didn't answer immediately. They set the phone down, walked to the window, and looked out into the quiet evening. The world outside continued as normal, but inside, something meaningful was beginning to unfold. They realized there wasn't an easy answer because gratitude isn't always born from events. Sometimes it comes from hope itself. Several long minutes passed before they finally picked up the phone again and typed a response. "I'd thank them," they wrote slowly, "for reminding me that I never had to stop believing that genuine love still exists." They read the sentence twice before pressing send. It didn't feel rehearsed. It didn't feel dramatic. It felt true. "Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you." Their sister replied almost instantly, as though she had been expecting exactly those words. "That's why I asked," she wrote. "People usually talk about what they hope to receive. But you spoke about what you've already become while waiting." Your future life partner felt a quiet warmth spread through them. For the first time, they understood that this journey had never been about counting the days until someone arrived. Every season of waiting had been shaping patience, kindness, and a deeper appreciation for the connection they hoped to share one day. Then another message appeared. It wasn't a question this time. It was a memory. "Do you remember the old journal you stopped writing in?" their sister asked. "I found something in it while helping you organize your bookshelf last month. I didn't read much, just one sentence. And after today's conversation, I finally understand what it meant." Your future life partner's eyes widened with surprise. They had almost forgotten that journal existed. It had been tucked away for years, filled with quiet reflections they never expected anyone else to notice. Their sister continued, the sentence simply said, "One day, I hope someone feels at home when they're with me. I never told you because I wanted you to discover its meaning on your own." Silence returned once again. This time it felt comforting, almost sacred in its simplicity. Your future life partner smiled with a sense of peace they hadn't experienced before. They realized that, without noticing, they had already started becoming the person they once hoped to be. But just as they were about to put their phone away for the night, one final notification appeared. It wasn't from their sister. It came from an unexpected place, carrying a few ordinary words that somehow made this entire conversation feel closer, more personal, and more real than ever before. Sometimes the smallest message arrives without any intention of changing your day. Yet it quietly changes the way you see everything. Your future life partner looked at the screen, expecting another ordinary notification that would disappear as quickly as it appeared. Instead, they found a message from an old friend they hadn't spoken to in quite some time. It wasn't about relationships. It wasn't about the future. It simply read, "I was thinking about you today. I hope you're still protecting the kind heart you've always had." They stared at those words much longer than expected. Don't skip, because what happened next wasn't in the message, it was in the realization that followed. Those simple words echoed everything their sister had been saying throughout the day. Different voices. Different moments. Yet the same quiet truth kept appearing. It wasn't pointing them toward a perfect future. It was reminding them not to lose the person they had become while waiting for it. They leaned back, closed their eyes, and smiled. For the first time in a long while, they weren't wondering when love would arrive. They were grateful that hope had never completely left them. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you. As they sat in the peaceful silence, they reached for the old journal their sister had mentioned. A thin layer of dust covered its cover, a quiet reminder of how much time had passed. Carefully, they opened it. The pages held simple reflections, forgotten dreams, and quiet promises they had once made to themselves. Then, almost halfway through the journal, a folded page slipped out. They had no memory of writing on it. Curious, they unfolded it slowly. Across the top, in their own handwriting, was a question they had written years earlier: will the right person recognize the real me, even before I explain who I am? They paused. Their heart felt unexpectedly light. Without realizing it, they whispered the answer aloud. Yes, because they'll be looking for the same honesty I am. It was as though years of uncertainty had gently melted into one peaceful understanding. They weren't waiting to become worthy of love. They were simply waiting for the moment two prepared hearts would recognize one another. Just then, something caught their attention. Tucked inside the back cover of the journal was a tiny envelope they had never noticed before. There was no name on it. No date. Only 3 handwritten words on the front: open when ready. Your future life partner looked at the envelope in complete silence. Their fingers rested on the edge, but they didn't open it immediately. Somehow, they knew whatever was inside had been waiting for this exact moment, and the first sentence they would read from that hidden letter would become the most unforgettable part of this entire journey.